You know, you are a name, first of all. You are Farah, you are War, you are Martha, you are John, you are Joseph. But the day you die, you cease to have a name. You become a body. Burying the dead in Kenya for my Christian brothers and sisters is a very expensive thing.
Member would be Honorable Farah Maalim.
Excuse me. Yeah. Speaker, thank you very much. It's very interesting to have a motion that discusses the state of our cemeteries in Nairobi. Whereas I appreciate the fact that we need to seriously respect the dead, the big question one needs to ask is that, is it the dead who are encroaching on the living, or is it the living who are encroaching on the dead? Honorable members, this place was planned very well by the colonialists. And in that planning, what's the problem?
The time is up. Oh, go on.
Order. This place was very well planned. But there has been very ambitious development in the city itself. This city has expanded to something like 10 times what it was at independence. And I don't know whether we are trying to find dignity for the dead, or this is going to create a situation in which developers would see this as a very prime line and had to see a situation in which the cemetery itself is expanded. Because the cemetery is next to a forest, and the forest is big. And I have a feeling that it was invaded from both the north, and on the other side, of course, there's a freeway. Having said that, I still agree with what Honorable War is saying, that dignity has got to be there. The other thing is, why are we finding bodies out there? Is it because people have invaded the graves themselves to look for valuables, or the graves are shallow? I was reading the other day that in Sabuk, the very famous historical settler Macmillan, who was, I think, a library named after him, his grave was raided and the body is no longer there. I don't know what to say about that. But I know of also what you call the grave thieves. So more than anything else, what we need to do is that we have to have a system in place of the national government in which the police, as a national government function, protect the dead. The citizens cannot protect the dead. And also to put down standards for graves. The graves have got to be at least 5 feet deep. They don't have to be shallow. Who makes them shallow? Is it the county government or the national government or the people of Kenya? No. The families who are going to dig, bury the dead there must be told that these graves have got to be a certain standard, and the standard itself has got to be regulated, and that regulation itself has got to be enforced. I can hear some people want to see a situation like when we introduced cremation. The Honorable Atandi, as much as cremation might appeal to you, but it is in line with the faith of the Hindu community, and I don't think cremation is anything that can be considered by Muslims and Christians and Jews for that matter, because this is what you call the Abrahamic faiths, the monotheism. We have to bury our dead somewhere, and they have to have a grave. So I think what we need to do is that we not only see it very simplistically and say that close this place. No, we can't close. If tomorrow I lose my relative, and I lose them every other day, and I lose my fellow religious men, where do I take them? Because the thing is closed. We don't have a situation of sending them to our home areas. That's not part of our culture. It's not our faith. It's actually the directive of the faith that the body should be buried the same day that the person deceases and becomes a body. You know, you are a name, first of all. You are Farah, you are War, you are Martha, you are John, you are Joseph. But the day you die, you cease to have a name. You become a body. So the body itself must be interred, in our case, immediately, the same day. It doesn't matter whether you come from Mandera or you come from Germany or you come from wherever. If I die in Germany myself, my body will not be brought back. I'll be buried in Germany. And the same applies to all Muslims all over the world. So we can't close that thing. But what I want to see is that, do we have a lot of land up there, and is there an encroachment by the developers? And why was that allowed in the first place? Why were the developers allowed to encroach on the land that was set aside for the cemeteries from the colonial time? Why can the county government and the national government create a dignity for that? One, by having standards, and two, by making sure that this thing is protected. There are always people out there moving in the cemeteries, protecting the cemeteries. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. In my opinion, it's not so very simplistic. I do agree with the fact that burying the dead in Kenya for my Christian brothers and sisters is a very expensive thing. And somehow we all basically and we sympathize and empathize and see the problems that families suffer. A family that does not have the bare minimum, 3 square meals.
Your time is up.